Thank you, Alan. Good afternoon, everyone. The Sacramento City Council will please come to order. Would the clerk call the roll, please, to establish a quorum?
Thank you, Vice Mayor Ashby. Here. Councilmember Laloe.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Valenzuela.
Here.
Councilmember Chenier.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gatta will be tardy. Councilmember Jennings.
Here.
Councilmember Vang.
Here.
And Mayor Steinberg.
Here. Good afternoon, everyone. Councilmember Laloe, would you do us the honor of the land acknowledgement and the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Sure. Please rise for the opening acknowledgement in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal land. To the original people of this land, the Nasanan people, the Southern Maidu, Valley and Plain Miwok, Padwin Wintun people, and the people of Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather together today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous people's history, contribution, and lives. Thank you.
Thank you. And the pledge.
Salute.
I pledge allegiance
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Laloe. Good evening, members, or good afternoon, and to the members of the public and the city staff. We begin tonight with two presentations. Without objection, I'd like to take presentation number 2 first, which is recognizing the Sacramento Police Sheriff Memorial Foundation. I see a number of its leaders here. Councilmember Laloe, is this your item?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Yes, it's an absolute honor of mine to be here today, and I'm very excited to be able to do this in person to present the Sacramento Police Sheriff Memorial Foundation resolution. As many of you know, I'm a big supporter of police and sheriff personnel. So to be able to present this resolution tonight is an incredible honor. For those of you who may not know, the Sacramento Police and Sheriff Memorial is in District 2. And I'm very proud that it is in our community in the Woodlake Park at 500 Arden Way. It is also directly adjacent to the Tara O'Sullivan Memorial Field. It is a stunning monument to the memory of those who fell while protecting our community in the name of the police duty. The Sacramento Police and Sheriff Memorial Foundation was formed in 1992, and construction of the memorial was completed in 2002. I strongly encourage you all to visit the site and to pay tribute to those memorials here. Mr. Brown and I have the opportunity to speak to one another an annual remembrance ceremony this year, and I'm grateful he's here tonight on behalf of our police officers and sheriffs to accept this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Brown, on behalf of the entire City Council and the great city of Sacramento for your tireless effort work to honor the memories of those who have fallen. Mr. Mayor, I have the
Yes, well, Mr. Brown, come on up, and any other members of the foundation, please. And no others may want to add in. I just want to also say thank you for always insisting that we never forget. And, you know, tragically and unfortunately, the memorial represents people who have lost their lives in the line of duty going back decades or more. And even more tragically, there's always been another name to inscribe. And it just reminds us how important the work you do is, men and women of our police department, and how much you risk our lives, your lives, for the people you serve every day. And so thank you. You're welcome to come on up here. Yeah, the panorama, if you guys want to come on up. Yeah. Do you want to say anything, Mr. Brown?
Sure.
Please, why don't you go ahead and then come on up and please honor us by taking a picture, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and council members. Several of you know me with many hats in the past number of years, but tonight we're here to receive graciously the presentation honoring those fallen Sacramento police officers and sheriff deputies within our jurisdiction. The foundation, as mentioned, was formed in 1992. It started on the heels of a pickup football game between officers and deputies. Some may know its name that it's now called, Pig Bowl, or Guns and Hoses. But that was the catalyst of starting the foundation organization to bring honor and memory to our fallen officers. And yes, the very first officers, as far back as the city's first officer, for example, that was fallen was in 1858. None of you were on council then, but that was, yes, Special Officer George C. Chapman. But on our wall, we have 43 names and families that remember those names. First, second, third, and multiple generations that have followed. And it is true to never forget. I have not lost a child myself, but talking to parents that have, with a name up on the wall, it's like having a loss yesterday. And just for the city council members' information, just recently we recognized the fallen officer of Burner Bennett that was killed in 1970 in Oak Park by gunshot. And so in just 2 short years ago, they had a remembrance ceremony where they had the families get together and to remember 50 years later. 50 years later. And to each one to the family members that were there, it was like yesterday. They were reciting vivid details of that day. So it is very much important, but fast forwarding to today, on our wall we have 43 names. Sadly, we're going to be adding one more name in the springtime, Elk Grove officer, that'll be added to the wall. But I want to thank the council for this resolution and council member for your efforts on this. And while I'm receiving the framed presentation here, it takes a village. I'm the president of the board of directors for the Memorial Foundation, but it takes a village. And part of that village with me are some board members here in the chambers. Tom Blount is a fallen family member, representative on the memorial board. Captain Zach Bales, representing the police department. And sitting up in the city manager's seat, Mario Lara will be incoming board member to the foundation. We all work together as a village to make sure that the memories and names are remembered in all of our ceremonies, not just the annual ceremony, but we have a fallen family barbecue that we do. That's a little bit more low-key. We have static displays. We have a website, and we do other kinds of outreach to making sure that the names are remembered. And I'd like to close one thing, Mayor, if I have a moment.
Sure.
Some may be able to see this or not, but I'm a retired police officer, Sac PD, 30 years, and now one of your reserves. But on this badge, you'll see a black band that goes across the badge. We call that a memorial band. And if some of you know, some of you have heard me explain this, but for those who don't know that, what this represents, it's one of the law enforcement tributes, particularly during Memorial Week or during the funeral week of an officer's death. In Asian culture, it's attributed that hundreds of years ago, when a family member passed away, the family would take a piece of the clothing of the deceased and place it on the outside of their clothing for the week leading up to the funeral. They did this to represent that they had a loss in the family. others around them would be able to know that they had had a loss. Fast forward, you have military, law enforcement, and fire that adopted that practice, that tradition, that ritual of recognizing that when they have a fallen family member, it's represented by a piece of cloth on the exterior of their body. So if you see an officer that's wearing a black mourning band, that is what it represents, that there's been a loss in the family.
Thank you.
So I would leave again that with you folks. And again, thank you for recognizing us in our annual ceremony. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Perfect.
If I could just add one quick thing. The most important thing to the family members of fallen officers is their fallen officer will never be forgotten. And our committee is making sure of that, and I am so honored by this resolution tonight by the City Council. So it means the world to me, and I'm inviting each and every one of you to go to the park there at Arden and Del Paso Boulevard. It's a beautiful memorial. Please go there, check out the names on those bollards, and just take a moment to thank them for their sacrifice. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna, please.
Mr. Mayor, last week, if you presented, you were down here, everybody goes, is that how the form?
You stay down here, Sean. It's fine. It's fine. We make it up as we go. Here you go. Sorry. Solemn but important way to start our meeting. All right, Councilmember Vang, are you ready for the second presentation of the late afternoon here, which is recognized?
I am. And this resolution was actually brought forth by Mayor Pro Tem Eric Guerra, but he can't join us right now at this moment. So Vice Mayor Ashby and I are going to tag team on this. As many of you know, Sacramento recently received the All-American City Award, and Sacramento was actually chosen as a winner of the 2022 All-American City Award, highlighting Sacramento's collaborative work to increase literacy, improve digital equity, and really expand our after-school programming in underserved neighborhoods. In the city in particular, we know literacy is incredibly important. As many of you know, during the pre-pandemic, we know that many of our students were already behind in terms of grade reading level. And now, because of the pandemic, we know that those inequities have widened. And so it's so important to make sure that we recognize the important work that's being done by frontline warriors every day, working with our babies and our youth to ensure that we can ensure that they can reach a grade reading level. We know that childhood literacy is tied to so many positive factors in improving life outcomes and education and health and career. And so really honored to be tag teaming with Vice Mayor Ashby on this. Mayor Pro Tem Eric Guerra, if you're rewatching this, I hope that I make you proud in terms of presenting this. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Vice Mayor Ashby to say a few words.
So, Mayor, we talked about this today, and this comes up so often in our meetings, and I, like many people on this board, have served in critical roles across our city to try really hard to increase those literacy rates. Several of you have spent many, many years on school boards and library boards, and we know that so the reading life of a child goes, so too does their adulthood. And we know that a lot of times that starts, the first indicator's third grade. Mm-hmm. And so we judge a lot of things in Sacramento based on, and across the country, on how kids are doing in third grade. And today we have one of our Sacramento area literacy champions with us. She has a very brief presentation she's going to show. I think it's really important. April is the executive director of the Sacramento Literacy Foundation. April Travis, though, has been working on literacy and supporting our library and supporting summer reading for longer than I've been on this council. She's a warrior for kids and a warrior for reading in Sacramento. So April, thanks for joining us and giving us some insight on the literacy issues, challenges, and opportunities in Sacramento.
Thank you, Councilmember Ashby and Councilmember Vang. Nice to see everybody here today. So I'm just going to give you a little overview of where the city of Sacramento is at relative to literacy right now. And that's before we can measure anything COVID-oriented. COVID scores will come out in January of 2023, and then we'll get a sense of by school site exactly what's going on there. But I'm with the Sacramento Literacy Foundation, and we want all kids reading. We think it's the top equity issue. So we think this is a civil rights issue, and so does a lot of people around the country. New York Times just put something out about Kareem Weaver. Definitely check out what's going on. Reading is really getting a lot of important traction, and Oakland is leading much of the way nationally, which is awesome. We are your local convener. We have a walk for literacy. We have a community literacy map, which really measures by school site where kids are reading, where they're not reading, and it allows providers to really find the areas that need the help the most, and it allows funders to fund the areas that need it most. As Councilmember Vang said, we won the All-America City Award, which we're very proud of. Proud to bring home an award to Sacramento. And it's with our literacy check-ins that we were able to come together and keep coming together and talking about how we could win this award. A lot of people in Sacramento have done a lot of work since 2011 to change literacy rates. We moved the needle like 13% in that time. COVID's going to hurt us, but thank God we did it, because if we hadn't, we'd really be in a bad place. We're also your local campaign for grade level reading convener. So pre-COVID, 46% of Sacramento County third graders were at grade level. Why third grade? Well, that's because that's the first time a kid gets tested. But it's not early enough. That's really the truth. Not maybe for testing, but it's not early enough to start teaching a reader. In 2019, the city of Sacramento was at 29% proficiency. So you can see the city of Sacramento well below the larger county, Elk Grove, Rancho Cordova, higher wealth. Black and brown kids are more affected in the city of Sacramento, and all that data just shows up right there. COVID-19 is predicted to reduce literacy rates by 10 to 20%. So we're going to be in trouble. It's going to be a bigger crisis than I think a lot of people are thinking about, but we want you to think about it as a literacy community, and we know that you guys have your head on that with a lot of work from a lot of you working on this issue and understanding its importance. These are the things, the dimensions that the map shows us, our community literacy map. 29% are meet or exceed grade level. 74% of our kids in the city of Sacramento are in the reduced meal program. That means we have a high level of poverty amongst our kids. And 16% of our kids have chronic absentee issues pre-COVID. You can bet that number, 16%, is going to climb to 26, 36, 46. Chronic absenteeism is one of the biggest problems that COVID presents to all of us. So you have 4 school districts in your district. You have Natomas, you have Twin Rivers, you have Robla, and you have the city of Sacramento unified. You can see how many kids, what percentage of which kids are from which district, just in general to get a feel for it. Obviously, the bigger player is Sacramento City, and as we know, they're having a lot of issues. I think Councilmember Vang really has her hands on that, but that's a district that really needs a lot of help because of its size and how many kids it's affecting. Here are the very things I showed you for the whole city. You can see them for each school district. Twin Rivers has one of the highest rates of poverty along with Robla, but also doing some of the best work around meeting and exceeding grade level. And that's interesting. Twin Rivers is very focused on getting the science of reading into K through 2nd grade classrooms. Robla, the same. They've had a lot of work done. Whereas you can see Natomas, not as much, and the city of Sacramento, not as much. And we'd really like to see how we can increase that, those numbers in those 2 larger districts. Us, we're putting books in kids' hands. We think that's important. We are working to support schools to put evidence-based curriculum, i.e. science of reading, into the classrooms. And we are continuing our efforts for summer reading and finding summer reading programs and supporting more summer reading programs. Our map will have a layer on that next year. How important are books in the kids' hands? As important as their parents' education and job attainment level. We're working to put diverse, high-quality books. We just put 4,000 books in 20,000 books in 4,000 kindergarten through 2nd grade kids' hands in the Promise Zone, high-quality books, and 2 of those books were local authors. And there's all these author engagements going on now in Twin Rivers in particular. We're trying to work it out with City of Sacramento, but we're so excited. Leticia Ordaz is doing 8 different school assemblies, which is just fabulous. And she has a bilingual book, and she's a local anchor, and She writes books because she couldn't find herself on the pages of books. I mean, this is just so important. The big little thing is that kids of color are not represented in books, and that's a problem. They need to be in all the books. This is the science of reading. It says 1 in 3 kids will read no matter what. 1 in 3 kids will need a set curriculum, and 1 in 3 kids will need a set curriculum plus after-school, high-quality tutoring support. That's really important, and this is irregardless of intelligence. I think that's so important because reading stratifies us, but a slow reader isn't because they're not intelligent. It's just not that. And so what we need to do is put our heads around that and teach people the process so that everybody has the same chance. The reading highway straight up. This is a math equation that kind of explains the science of reading, but I'm trying to move fast, so we can talk about that later if you want. Not reading in the summer, one of the top 3 reasons a kid falls behind. Not reading during COVID. Obviously, that's like times 10, not reading in the summer. So we can expect, again, those results to be not that great. We won this All-America City Award. This is in the Promise Zone. I'm sure all of you recognize the Promise Zone because it's a city designation. But these are the schools that we're really, really working hard to impact and make a difference. What we can say is that in the Promise Zone, schools that had literacy interventions, high-quality tutoring, attendance support, increased their reading rates at twice the rate that schools without literacy interventions were able to increase. So that just speaks to the value of any kind of investment in literacy interventions at the school site level. The award, the All-America City Award, made us really aware of affordable housing and where those kids are. Natomas, honestly, has the biggest affordable housing community. And you could see that in the earlier data, right, where they were on the underside. Well, this is important.
For those in the back of the room, so true, and people always forget this.
Yeah, this is really important because this, affordable housing poverty affects a lot of different things, and reading rates is one of them, right? Irregardless of intelligence. I just think it's so important to keep saying that. So we're already partnering up with Leotada Floyd and Oak Ridge Elementary to do comprehensive, like little things though. Libraries in the classrooms, getting the team to the Walk for Literacy, showing up with an author at the school, just a lot of little things is what we're working on with them. What do we need from you? We need you to be aware. It seems like a lot of you are already, so that's awesome. And we need resources, right, to help our kids read. That's just the bottom line. The Walk for Literacy is coming up on October 1st. Can't miss a moment to say, please come. Some of you are sponsoring it. Thank you. And with that, I think I'm in my 5 minutes. Questions?
Thank you. Thank you. Very, very thorough and comprehensive. Very good. I know I have one question, but should I ask it?
Yeah,
So this is a philosophical question.
okay.
Okay, so, and it's actually a serious question, but it'll sound a little funny. So I know among adults that there's a divide between whether or not people like hardcover books or they like reading on an iPad or a Nook or a Kindle. I know I like the Kindle, okay. But for kids, have we done any studies about whether or not kids would read more if they had the easy-to-put tablet in their back pocket and had a bunch of books on it versus having to access a physical hardbound book every time they want to read a book? Do we have an opinion on that?
I don't know if there's any research. There's a lot out there that says that technology's eating kids' brains up. My kid probably wouldn't learn to spell anything
I'm not talking
without
about video
texting.
games. I'm talking about
Yeah.
reading books off of.
No, I know. My kid wouldn't be able to spell without texting. I think having books on an electronic device, particularly shorter graphic novels, would be an incredible thing to kind of figure out how to create. Is there research on it yet? Not
I mean,
yet.
not research, but maybe when we think about youth investments, I know that there have been initiatives to make sure that every school kid has an iPad or a tablet, but then fill it up with.
Yeah. I think that really would raise the issue of digital equity, but I think that any program that was out to do that, we would certainly be interested in investing in that.
Mayor,
Just
one
one
really
little
cool
aside.
thing-
Real-
One really cool thing about that April knows a lot about too is that if you look at the city of Sacramento, the county of Sacramento's library program and their you can borrow books online from
Yes.
them, right?
Yeah.
So she knows about this because she's helped raise a lot of money to do things like put tablets and iPads and things in some of the libraries so that kids can check out that equipment and download more books. And what we see is the reach of our library too goes all the way to New York
Farther.
and to wherever because our digital library is so much better. So the answer to your question is both. Any way that we can get books in the hands of kids, whether it's digital, borrowed, library, purchased, is really formative and important.
That's a better answer than I had. I like that. I'm going to use that
April,
next.
thank you. Any other questions or really important? I mean, what could be more important?
September is Literacy Month. You guys made that true. And September 8th is Literacy Day. So happy Literacy Day, and thanks for having me here today.
You know, you could show a little bit more passion, okay?
Thank you, April.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, April. Very, very passionate and appropriately so. Okay, thank you.
Mayor,
Yes,
I just wanted to say that I've had a chance to work with the foundation in a lot of different areas, but the authors program, the local authors programs, where our authors that are coming here from Sacramento, is one of the most powerful programs that I've seen to date. And the more that our kids can see themselves becoming authors and emulate the authors that they've seen, the more they develop a love for reading, the more they develop a love for advancement in their education. So that program has many young authors who are writing books like crazy that are exciting our kids because they're writing about everyday things, whether it's eating, whether it's playing, whether it's going to school, whether it's the importance of friendship. So many different areas they're writing about. And so that's an area I think that we should continue to invest in because the young authors that we're talking about today will be, the young kids that we're talking about today will become the young authors of tomorrow. And so I'm really excited about that program on top of all the programs that you do out there, April. Thank you so much for everything you do.
thank you. Thank you, April. All right. Members, let's go to the business here and begin with the consent calendar. There are items that members would like to be heard separately, voted upon separately. Discuss?
Yeah, Mayor, number 8, I'd like to pull it for a separate vote.
For a separate vote. Okay, very good. And a discussion, council member, or just a vote?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a pretty simple matter.
Okay. Is there any other, any other items? Okay.
Move item 1 through 7.
Mayor, I wasn't quick enough with my finger.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I just wanted to add to the log. Last week, Councilmember Chenier asked staff to look into creating a student advisory position on the city council. Just wanted my name to be added to that requester as I think it's really important. And if we are able to do this, we'll be the first jurisdiction ever to do something like this. And so I wanted to make sure that I add my name to that request in support.
Love it. Okay.
Mayor, I just have a comment on item 7, but I don't need it to be pulled.
Okay, why don't you take that right now?
Sure. Just want to highlight it, that I'm really proud of our staff. Want to thank Bridget Dean and her team for working with the LGBT Center, who has been working so hard on how to help transition age foster youth, particularly those from the LGBT community. And so I just want to thank our staff. This is really great work, really important. So Mario, please extend the gratitude of all of us, for really working with this vulnerable population, and really glad to see it on this agenda.
Excellent. Okay, so it's Councilmember Jennings, it would be items 1 through 7 and 9 for your motion.
Yes, sir.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Do we have public testimony on the consent calendar?
I do have one hand raised in Zoom. Mr. Davis?
Hello, yes, this is Lambert. I'm calling about number 6. Anytime that I see core, I'm calling to get clarity on what that actually is, because they've had tremendous difficulty regarding barriers that they've met the requirements and then more barriers. So because of core, is there anyone that can explain number 6?
Well, it reestablishes the core program. Been discussed many times, but it does extend the sunset of the program to the date specified, April the 9th, 2024. And it's a continued work in progress in terms of how we ensure that the growth of the cannabis industry benefits our diverse populations, especially those who have been historically victimized by the war on drugs.
Good enough, Mayor.
Thanks, Lambert.
Mr. Mayor, I think this also allows them to continue applying for grants.
That's correct. All right, so that's good. Let's call the roll then on items 1 through 7 and 9.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Ashby?
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe?
Aye.
Councilmember Harris?
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
Yes.
Councilmember Chenier? Mayor Pro Tem Guerra is absent. Councilmember Jennings?
Yes.
Councilmember Vang?
Yes.
And Mayor Steinberg?
Yes. All right, that passes unanimously. Thank you. Let's go back to item 8. Councilmember Harris?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I spoke to Hector Barone about this item. Mario, I'd like to move the item just with the simple direction that we have a report back before the end of the year on the CWTA. Its successes, its failures. There have been many reports generated, but none offered to the city council. So I'd like the city manager's staff to give a full presentation.
Noted, Councilmember.
All right. And with that, I move the item, Mayor.
Very good. And that we're planning to come back with an evaluation. It sunsets in August of 2023, so it was in the works. Okay, let's call the roll. It's been moved and seconded.
I'll second that if it has not been seconded.
Okay, please.
Thank you. I have a motion by Councilmember Harris and a second by Jennings. Vice Mayor Ashby?
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe?
Aye.
Councilmember Harris?
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
Yes.
Councilmember Chenier? Mayor Pro Tem Guerra is absent. Councilmember Jennings?
Yes.
Councilmember Vang?
Yes.
And Mayor Steinberg?
Yes. All right, the consent, that passes. The consent calendar is completed. We have one discussion calendar item today, and it's item 10 on the Sacramento Employment Training Agency operating budget for the 22-23 fiscal year. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Yes Sauerborn, and I'm the Fiscal Chief and Interim Administrative Services Deputy Director for the Sacramento Employment and Training Agency. And as you know, the SETA was established by the city and the county as a JPA. And stipulated in that agreement is that the city and the county must review and approve SETA's annual budget before it's considered final and authorized. So the SETA Governing Board approved the budget before you on August 4th meeting. And SETA is a 100% grant-funded agency. It provides services throughout Sacramento County and consists of two separate departments, the Children and Family Services Department and the Workforce Development Department. Actually, 45% of our funds are set aside for clients and subrecipients, and the majority of the 43%, is spent on salaries and fringe benefits for SETA staff. The Children and Family Services Department makes up 72% of the budget and 81% of SETA's actual workforce. The Head Start funding is layered with state funding in order to provide for longer days for working families. And throughout the county, we provide 4,176 preschool slots and 880 infant toddler slots. We're able to provide these services with the assistance of 5 delegates and 2 partners. And together we have a total of 112 centers countywide, and SETA operates 39 of them. SETA also serves over 660,000 meals to our children every year. And as you can see, the majority of the Head Start budget are spent on salaries and fringes for our staff. The Workforce Development Department makes up about 28% of our budget, and 39% comes from WIOA funding, 36% from refugee services, 8% from CSPG, and the remaining 17% is a variety of funding sources that we receive throughout the years, usually like 1 or 2 year contracts for different programs, some of them from the city. The majority of the budget is set aside for subrecipients and clients, and we're able to serve the county with the partnership of all of our subrecipients so we can operate 13 job centers, serve over 20,000 clients a year, and over 90% of our clients have some sort of barrier to employment. Either they're justice involved, English language learners, basic skills deficient, homeless, disabled, aged out foster youth, that sort of thing. I also want to take a moment to highlight some of the city and SETA initiatives that we've been working on with the city and city staff over the past year. Denise Lee's been working with the Child Care Initiative, to help improve access to affordable and quality childcare for working families throughout Sacramento. We also have our workforce development staff who work with the city on different workforce development planning committees, the Aggie Square Committee, and the Community Workforce Training Agreement, which you just approved in the consent item. We also have a separate subcontract with the city for youth in the city Parks and Rec department. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have about our budget.
Okay. I do have Councilmember Chenier. Go ahead. Is there public comment, Madam Clerk?
I have no speaker slips in chambers, and I see no hands raised in Zoom.
It's only $115 million. I mean, it's interesting. Well, go ahead, Jay. Go.
Excuse me. Great, thank you very much. It's a great presentation. And SETA does great work. I know you're in the midst of getting a new executive director. Hopefully that will happen relatively soon here. I do want to ask one question here, if I can, and that really has to do with young people getting services from SETA, and is that proportional to the population? So the city is about a third of the county. We're about 500,000. The county is about 1.5 million. But do we know from the data that you've provided or the data that you have, how many of those young people that are being served are in the city versus the county?
So for our WIOA Youth program, we served a little over 320 participants last year, and 69% of that was from the city, and 31% were rest of the county.
Great.
So a large portion of our WIOA Youth is from the city.
Okay, those are the numbers we want to hear.
That's great.
And do we know overall impact for those 69%?
For those in particular, I don't know, we'd have to pull the data further.
I think as this council, and hopefully will continue to look at young people, and I thought April's presentation about what's needed was really good. As we continue to think about that, I think we need to look harder at what the results are of the programs that we provide and the programs that our partners provide and the programs that obviously where we sit on a JPA. So I think that's a conversation I'm going to turn to Mai here that we need to continue having to make sure we're getting
If I
the
might
most
add
out of
too,
that.
we have a huge literacy program with our Head Start,
Yep.
starting really early. So we really push literacy in our preschool programs as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Laloe? Thank you. I'm sorry, got you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. On your job training programs, is there do you have the data as far as once the training is completed, are there jobs that are lined up for individuals? And if so, which companies are involved? And after that, once individuals have taken on a position directly from your job training facility, what's the retention time, their job retention after getting that job? And I don't want this information. I'm just curious about it. If you could even.
We love data, and we've got lots of data in all of our databases. Last time, I think I remember seeing about 65% of our job force customers obtain full employment from how we measure it. I know that they do coaching and they do follow-up up to a year after they leave our services. So I'm sure we have retention data that we can provide to the city council if that's something that they're interested in. There's any kind of data you want that's specific, just let us know what you want. We can get that for you. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, your office is in my district, and I think you guys do a great job. Just having that data to say, each individual, especially in the job training programs, what's the cost for each individual from their starting date to get a job, and what's the retention period? 6 months, a year, and anything over that. I think it would be some good data to kind of look at.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
We were whispering for a moment about SETA, sorry.
Can I move the item, Mayor?
Yeah,
All right.
you know, what do we do to work closer together? Sorry about that. What do we do to work closer together? It's a big picture question.
We just want to make sure we understand.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I know we have a lot of leadership that's on a lot of different committees with the city, and our staff work really closely together. If there's other things that we can think of moving forward, especially as our leadership changes, that might be a good opportunity to reestablish some of those communication links and do more together.
I mean, I'm thinking about Aggie Square, I'm thinking about the potential mobility center, I'm thinking about all these big-time initiatives, and I know SETA's leading. I mean, on some, I mean, I know, for example, with Aggie Square, but this is really important. And maybe it's the nature of JPAs themselves, right? They're just separated from the main body. I'd like us to see us have even more workforce discussion with the city staff, the SETA staff, maybe down the line, because it's a key part of our agenda.
Mayor, and I would say, Mayor Pro Tem Eric Guerra and I are on the SETA board together, and we are still in the middle of our executive director search. So happy to make sure that as soon as that happens, that we sit down with the executive director to talk about opportunities for us to work even more closely together. CMC is a really great example of what we could be focusing on as well, so.
Okay.
I think, if I can add, I think part of that, and I agree with Councilmember Bang, a lot of it is looking ahead. Some of the jobs that we're spending a lot of time on now, while worthy to have those job placements, is not where we need to go in our workforce for the future. So I think that's a piece, and I believe that that's part of the focus of the new executive director, whoever it will be kind of looking over the horizon here to get a little bit more creative about how we're doing it.
Good. All right.
And I'm happy to move the item.
I'll second.
Or, I'm sorry.
Councilmember Valenzuela, I think, moved the item
I would
already.
be happy to second to Councilmember Valenzuela's
Okay.
motion.
Let's call the roll. Let's call the roll.
Okay. Vice Mayor Ashby? Yes. Councilmember Laloe?
Aye.
Councilmember Harris?
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
Yes.
Councilmember Chenier?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra is absent. Councilmember Jennings?
Aye.
Councilmember Vang?
Yes.
Mayor Steinberg?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, are there council ideas or questions? We do have a few. I see Councilmember Laloe. Did you? Or that was from your previous?
You didn't clear me. But
I'm sorry, now you're cleared.
I don't want to be the first one.
Councilmember Harris.
Yeah, a couple of quick announcements. Just wanted to reiterate that Pops in the Park is on September 17th. It begins at 6 p.m. at South Natomas Community Park, and HIP service will be playing. Should be a lot cooler by the 17th of September. It looks like it'll be in the low 90s. And of course, once the sun goes down, the temperature drops quickly, so it should be a really pleasant night. Leadership Sacramento is hosting a Republic FC versus Orlando City watch party at Nitty's Cider, located at 3201 Folsom Boulevard, tomorrow starting at 4 p.m. This is a benefit for Stanford Settlement. Additionally, Stanford Settlement is hosting their weekly vaccine clinic tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and those events are at Stanford Settlement. And that's it for now. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to announce that unfortunately we are canceling our movie night on Friday of the Newsies with the Labor Council. It's simply going to be too hot, and we've decided to hopefully reschedule it for another day, which means our first movie night will also be on the 17th. It's going to be at Southside Park featuring Encanto, and we'll start at sunset. So I hope folks will join us for that. Hopefully it'll be a lot cooler by then. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, we've got Councilmember Vang.
Thanks, Mayor. Just a few announcements. Wanted to just let folks know that this weekend on September 10th, we're doing our LeVar Burton Park tree planting. I think there's several tree planting happening throughout the city because our parks commissioners are doing it, and we're doing ours at LeVar Burton Park. Just want to give a shout out to our park commissioner, Janine Gaines, for that. So hope that y'all can join us. Our goal is to plant 25 trees, and we have about 40 volunteers. Also want to give a shout out just to my staff, Samantha. She did a great job as director of community events for her first event. We did the end of our summer pool party that happened on Sunday, and it was a blast, lots of fun seeing families out there trying to beat the triple-digit heat. So just want to give her a shout out as well. And then lastly, because my new staff is here and he's in the chambers with us, I just want to give a shout out to Kirby really quick. He just started his official day as my comms director, and just want to give a shout out to him. He's a staunch advocate for ethnic studies, cross-racial solidarity, has 15 years specializing in comms and campaigns and social and political change. So really happy to have him officially part of the City Hall team. So just want to give him a shout out. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Vang. That's great. Welcome to City Hall. Councilmember Laloe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Just a few things. Once again, a huge gratitude to the Parks and Rec Department. We were able to open up Johnson Park swimming pool this past Saturday and Sunday, which was fantastic. Also, I want to give a great shout out and thank you to the volunteers that helped me out on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We were able to pass out about 500 cases of water over these 3 days. And these volunteers, it took one phone call, and we all met at a place. We used our cars, and we kind of went out to the community. So mega thank you to all the individuals that were involved. And unfortunately, we had to cancel the movie night too on Saturday because of the heat, but we're definitely coming back to it. So thank you very much, and have a great rest of the week, and go Sacramento, I guess, right?
Go Republic.
Yeah, Sacramento.
I have a feeling that the vice mayor is going to say something about that in a minute. Go ahead.
I don't know what I got myself into here, but you are all welcome to join me. It's going to be really fun. So tomorrow night, of course, the Sac Republic, Councilmember Vang and Councilmember Valenzuela will be our delegation in Florida representing this council and cheering as loud as they can. I've heard them cheer, so that's actually pretty good. They're going to do great. And I'm going to stay back. Mayor's going to help me, and we are going to throw a party, which we moved. This is really important. We moved it into the brand new Safe Credit Convention Center because it's hot outside. So we have a lot of RSVPs right now. A lot. We have some big screen TVs we're going to have. They're actually like, video walls, and there will be some beer and food trucks and all that fun stuff. Lots of swag that you can get from Sac Republic, and we'll have a good time. Plus, you can come watch me stress out for a couple hours. It'll be really fun. And everyone's invited. You should RSVP online, though. We're trying to keep a little bit of a track of how many people we have and whether or not we need to add space. So you can sign up online. It's free to come. The only thing that costs when you're there is if you buy something while you're there. But Sac Republic's page, Mayor tweeted out a link today. I've tweeted out several links. So in my social media, the mayor's social media, Sac Republic's social media, Visit Sacramento and Downtown Partnership. Kellogg's is a sponsor of the event. Lots of folks involved, but you are all more than welcome to come. But please, colleagues, if you come, let me know so I can be sure to acknowledge you while you're there. And Mayor, you're joining me, right?
I'm going to be there.
We'll be there.
Better believe it.
We'll me and Councilman Valenzuela, we'll FaceTime y'all.
Yes, I want you guys to FaceTime me so I can show them that you're there. And
What time does it start?
it starts at the doors. Good question. The doors open at 4:00. The game starts at 5:00. Regular game is 90 minutes plus whatever extra time they have to play, so should be over, about 3 hours total from the doors opening to the finish. And come if you'd like. There's lots of people are coming. It'll be fun. It'll be a blast. A chance, really, the big story here is that Sacramento is the first lower level team in sort of modern MLS history to make it this far. The last time a lower level team made it this far, MLS wasn't quite what it is now. And our amazing team has really forged a unique path here to get into this championship. And they are the David and Goliath of soccer right now. They're underdogs by every measure, but heck, so's our city. And I've never seen a sports team embody that indomitable spirit quite like that Sacramento Republic. And if you get a chance to go online and dig into the stories of any of these players, it'll just make your heart melt. And they don't make any money. They're just here doing this because they love it so much. And for some of them, especially some of the older members of the team, older, by the way, super young still, but the older members of the team that are nearing the end of their professional sports life, they've waited their whole life for this moment, and they're representing us in our city, and it'll be Sacramento on their shirts, and I'm just really proud of them. I say this all the time, they don't have to win to make me proud, but I think our city's really proud of them as it is. But man, as Todd Donovan, the president of the team, always says, the story can only end one way. So come help me cheer them on.
We'll be there. We are a major league city, period, end of story. Again tomorrow night. Thank you for doing this, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Jennings, and I have an important set of announcements to make here. Go ahead.
Just a medley of announcements that I want to make very quickly. One, on this past weekend, the NAACP had their Festival of Music at Southside Park. And for those of us who like the Delphonics and Blue Magic, we had an incredible evening of wonderful music and love songs and memories that took us back another 20, 30 or so years. I'll stop there. But it was incredible, and I just want to give a shout out to Betty and Betty Williams and the entire NAACP staff for the work that they did in putting on that incredible festival of music and bringing back those bands that made us love music back in the 70s. So that was one thing. And then I also want to let you know that in November, The Color of Music is coming back to Sacramento for the second time. And if you had a chance to go to any of the events, the Mondavi Center, Memorial Auditorium, the Crocker Art Museum, all the different venues that classical music was played by African Americans, you saw something that touched your heart and you want to make sure that you go again. So that's coming in November. I just want to let you know about that. And my last announcement is the inaugural Oak Park Black Film Festival, which is starting on Wednesday and will go all the way through the weekend. And the Oak Park Film Festival for ages 18 and up is an inaugural celebration for African American stories and history through cinema. The 5-day event showcases independent documentaries, short films by African American filmmakers, including political, golf, movie making. I mean, just a bunch of different subjects that they're going to do over 5 days. But it's going to be at the Guild Theater each night. The tickets are only $10 per ticket, quite affordable. And I just want to make sure that you know about it in case you'd like to come out in support of all those filmmakers who are struggling to try to get their documentaries and films shown. But I will be there every night, and I hope you will be able to join us for at least one or two. And that concludes my announcements, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember. I just want to end with sort of state the obvious on a serious note. Sacramento is going through, like much of the state, but especially extreme here, a historic heat wave. And we're trying, and I know all the offices, including the city's Office of Emergency Services, all of our social media outlets, we're getting out the word about where people, especially vulnerable people, unsheltered people, can go. We have, of course, the Science Center off Auburn Boulevard, the old Science Center, open until midnight, 10 a.m. to midnight. During the heat wave, we've opened 7 community centers, open until 8 o'clock. I note the county, I believe, is opening 15 different facilities throughout the county. Thank you to the county. And this will continue till Friday and longer if necessary, depending upon the weather. And so it's about the people who are most vulnerable, but it's actually there people who are housed who are vulnerable as well. I worry a lot about the seniors, worry a lot about people who are shut in. So to the degree that everybody can be an even better neighbor and check on your neighbor, especially people who are alone, now is the time to step up. And then finally, we all just have to do our part, right? Between 4 and 9 to raise your thermostat to between 78 and 80 degrees. Try not to use major appliances during the same period of time. Today and tonight, as we speak, is a major test. I know we just all got beeped. Our phones just went off because we all got an emergency alert from the state of California. And so let's also pray for and wish all those who are working on the electricity issues throughout our state and throughout our county the very, very best. We know they're going to do their very best to try to avoid the rolling blackouts, but this is a very serious time and lives are at risk. And so let's do everything we can as a community to step up. I'm very grateful, Mr. Latta, to the city team for, and Daniel Bowers, of course, for always doing the, Daniel Bowers, always the heroic to go above and beyond and open those community facilities. And please take advantage of them. I know not everyone watches the city council meeting. We're trying to get the word out. Don't be outside in the middle of the heat if you can help it. All right, thank you. We do have public testimony for items not on the agenda. We have 5 people, is that right?
I have 6 people.
6 people, let's do that, and then we'll adjourn.
Thank you. The first speaker is Andy Bravonsky, then Gregory Galvanovich, and then Mr. Davis.
I'm on it twice. Do you want me to do both my things?
Both together, yes. You have 2 minutes.
First one is catalytic converter gifts. My cross-street neighbor got his stolen 2 nights ago. It was the 6th one on our street. I'm out in Golf Course Terrace Neighborhood Association area. And I just think I think the city and the county, I'll be talking to the county also, I think something's got to be done. They're really expensive to get replaced. Insurance usually doesn't cover it. And I just don't think it'd be that difficult to track it down. I think, I was in utilities for quite a few years. There was a time when we had manhole covers stolen. And it was a problem because cars and motorcycles were hitting holes without manhole covers, and they nipped it in the bud. They went to the recyclers, and I think they made some serious threats about, hey, we got to stop this. You guys can't take them. If you do, there's going to be repercussions. I think we got to do something about the catalytic converters the same way. I think the police, I know, the police are great in our neighborhood. I really appreciate everything they do. But I think some sort of a task force or some kind of a team should be formed, and they could go to the recyclers and tell them, hey, we know what's going on. If you accept any of these in the wrong way, we're going to come down on you in the wrong way. And I think it's just high time to do something. What I worry about is, I see one of my neighbors spending the night in his pickup trying to get these guys, and the last thing we want is somebody to get hurt or, confront these people. It's a 60-second crime. It happens in a hurry, but it's really affecting the neighbors. I've had 2 of them taken from my house, and it's just really a tough thing. Okay, the other thing, I've mentioned you at our Brewfest, Mayor. The homeless, Jay, I think you heard me say this too. The biggest problem, not the biggest problem, but one of the biggest problems I think people see with the homeless is the garbage.
Yep.
Tons of garbage. It's right in their face, and I really think people lose their sympathy or compassion to the homeless when they see this. So what I think is if the city were to purchase a bunch of garbage bags, I'm talking about a lot of garbage bags, and
Thank you for
pass
your
them.
comments. Your time is complete. Will you make your final comment, please?
What was that?
Your time is complete. Will you make your final comment,
This
please?
is my second.
You get 2 minutes
For the whole thing.
for the whole thing.
But I'm going to summarize. Right. Suggestion that we have ready to use garbage bags adjacent to all the different homeless encampments, and then continually monitor and participate in ensuring that the surrounding areas be kept clean. We've had this discussion over the last couple of weeks internally about what we need to do. We're spending a lot of money on forensic clean up, but we're looking at what we can do to make it more effective, because it obviously is not getting the job done, at least keeping as clean as we want it to be. So I heard what you said and actually took it right back.
I just think if they were, now, do I get 2 minutes per?
No, you get 2 minutes in total for the ideas and questions. You don't get 2 minutes for each. It's okay.
Okay.
No, but
I just think that.
We took it in.
We have volunteers that would pick it up, or city forces that could pick them up, and I just
Yes.
think it would be, it could be reality.
message received, and I took it when we met, and I've already raised it with the city manager, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Gregory Galvanovich, and then Lambert Davis.
Garbage. I've got problems with the front yard, the backyard. My backyard is Arden Fair Mall. I'm tired of picking up garbage thrown down by others walking by. Food wrappers, receipts from different companies, straws, wrappers from straws, aluminum cans, plastic and glass bottles. My idea is find a high-tech company, install codes in each sales receipt, food wrapper, bottle, cigarette butts, so that police can scan it and see who bought it and fine them $100. Let the homeless pick up the garbage, turn it into police. The city can get $50 and the homeless person can get $50, and they won't be throwing down their garbage anymore. If a person buys the bottle or food with cash, require a card to scan at the cashier, so the cashier can link his name, face, photo, and address to the items he bought. Sales receipt, food wrapper, bottle, cigarette butts. That's my first speech. Second speech, I want nobody to suffer. I advise people to save enough food and water to last 3 months. Mormons save food and water for 2 years. There's talk on the internet that in December we might have or will have an economic collapse and the money will be worth nothing and you can't eat money. The third speech is the pineal gland. If your pineal gland and your brain is clean, you can see your next lifetime. We need to remove fluoride from the water. Fluoride damages the pineal gland. I finished.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Lambert Davis. Following Mr. Davis is Barry Boyd. Mr. Davis, if you'll unmute.
Yes, this is Lambert Davis, and I'm sending out a lot of shouts tonight. And one thing I noticed, people should wear their masks, Mayor, because we're not out of the pandemic, and if the rostrum can wear their mask, everybody else should as well. Now, I wanted to end this by saying that Grant High School, for those of you who aren't aware, turns 90 years old this month. And I think it's a perfect karma for the Grant High School basketball team, which won the city championship. I hear a lot of excitement about the Sacramento Republic, and I'm pulling for them myself. But when you come from a winning tradition, you don't get too hyped up before the game because you can be heartbroken at the end. So I wish them well. But Grant High School won the championship this year. And also the Drumline, who I talked to, they were featured there as well. I just talked to them this weekend. And I think it should be where they should be invited to the chamber. They've already accomplished it. And honor them and their parents and get them some tickets to go see some real champions when the Warriors come to play the Kings this fall. It should not cost that much to bring them into the chamber on Grant's 90th birthday. It's a lot of alumni come from Grant High School. We know about winning it all. It's not easy to win the championship. So hopefully I don't sound like a broken record and you can get these teenagers into that chamber because it would be an honor for them. I know them personally. I know their grandparents, their parents. You know, I have deep roots here. So I think you can make that happen. It's just a matter of organizing it. But 90 years old for Grant High School. Shout out to the Grant High School Pacers.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Next speaker is Barry Boyd, then Robert Copeland.
Thank you and good afternoon. I would like to address this council to please be in support to the city manager, our city delegate for the League of California Cities conference that is going on this Friday, and endorse and send him your support in regards to voting on the resolution that will be presented this Friday. Well, I'm going to read quickly through the e-comment I have left. To City Manager Howard Chan, subject matter, sign and support the initiative resolution at the Cal Cities Conference. Please sign and support, sorry, let me move this out of the way. Please sign and support the initiative resolution, which I'll read in a moment, at the Cal Cities Conference this Friday, September 9th, 2022. You, not the City of Sacramento, are only voting on, in quotes, if the League of California Cities should support the initiative resolution, close quotes. In quotes as well, it is consistent with the League's own prior resolution. That resolution happened in 2018. The League of California Cities unanimously passed a similar resolution supporting the preparation of a ballot measure or constitutional amendment that would preserve the role of local democracy for California cities. With that, a resolution will be brought to the vote at the Friday General Assembly meeting in Long Beach titled Resolution of the League of California Cities to support a ballot measure to strengthen local planning authority in furtherance of the League of California Cities mission. That mission to expand and protect local control of cities through education and advocacy to enhance the quality of life for all Californians. And with that, I am Barry Boyd. I'm cutting it short, but I am a staunch supporter of a free and democratic process.
Thank you for your
Thank
comments. Our next speaker is Robert Copeland, and then Richard Wake is our final speaker.
Okay, let's talk about the heat that Sacramento is having right now. The National Weather Service said yesterday we got to 113, which was a 1 degree from the all-time record in Sacramento. Today it got up to 116, which is the all-time record. Last time we got up 114 Ohio was in 1925. What are you going to do to actually help the homeless population that is in the heat right now? And what are you going to do? How are you going to prevent homelessness and get them housing, the people that are homeless? I mean, the city council, for the most part, since I've been coming to the city council, either on person or on Zoom, has failed. Most of you should be replaced for incompetence. Get on the ball, help the homeless population. Remember, $1 spent for a homeless sweep is not $1 that's going to help the homeless population. For services, we need more services for the homeless population and not sweep. And I'm going to vote no on Measure O. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And our final speaker is Richard Wake.
Yeah, good evening, Richard Wake, City Council, District 7. So just to very quickly for the people that mentioned about getting trash picked up in the city, about 4 years ago, one of the homeless advocates, James Fago Clark, who frequented the city council meetings like I used to do before the pandemic, suggested that the city actually hire unhoused people, pay them the prevailing minimum wage, and give them a meal voucher and a hotel voucher, but that was swept under the rug like everything else that many of the homeless advocates suggested. This past weekend over at the South Hill Shopping Center, and I say this not as a to be negative about homeless people, but indeed, some drug-crazed homeless person went through the South Hill Shopping Center over on Southland Park Drive late Saturday and early Sunday morning and smashed cement trash cans, planters, and other, broke a water line at the Asian market and damaged other things that were owned by Flora's Bar and Grill and also by Brownies. We've been telling you guys to get the homeless people sheltered now for quite some time. I agree with everything that Robert Copeland just said, but how much longer are we going to have to put up with the crime that goes with this? You know, most of the homeless people that I know or have met are pretty safe people. And here's another example. A woman, elderly woman that I've met through my neighborhood association, her name is Linda. She lives in City Council District 4. She had to call the police the other day because for the umpteenth time, the encampment that's up on the river, someone had scaled the fence into her yard and threatened her. And, you know, when she emailed me, she said, Richard, I told her I'm on it. And she said, Richard, you know, the next time these people are going to kill me. When are you guys going to do something? When? When are you guys going to get people sheltered and quit sweeping people into other neighborhoods, making it our problem? This is ridiculous. Robert Copeland is right.
Thank you for your
Get
comments.
the
Your time
job
is complete.
Yes.
Mayor, I have no more speakers.
All right. Members of the public, stay safe, please, out there. If there's nothing else to come before the city council, we're adjourned.